sleuth.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Sleuth Intuition Live, where we mostly talk about the Delphi double homicide. That homicide took place in a small town called Delphi, Indiana, hence the name Delphi Murders. This took place 2017, February 13th. Two young girls out on the Monon trails on the Monon Bridge. We now know social media and possible catfishing and cyber stalking could have been taking place and eventually been the main tool used in this double homicide. So this morning, I had some time. I was going over the affidavit, a couple pages. I also went through the transcript, and I said, hey, this is a perfect opportunity for me to share these topics and these things that I'm looking into on my channel. So what I did was I kind of looked at the first couple pages of the affidavit, paid real close attention to the details that they were providing. And then I was bouncing back over to the transcript, trying to fill in some of the redacted information from the unredacted version of the videotaped transcript. So I found some interesting things. So that's why I titled it Peru to Vegas. A lot of talk about that. Why'd you go to Vegas? What were you doing in Vegas? There seems to be a ton of information in the transcript about their activities, and there's only a few. I don't think it's even mentioned in the affidavit. I could be mistaken. Another thing, Country Club Road. Kegan logging into a Wi-Fi. Well, we don't know if it's Kegan. We know that it's his phone, right? His phone was on Country Club Road, logged into a specific Wi-Fi there at that location at the time the Delphi double homicide was taking place. According to the transcript, that is. So that's always something we can talk about. Maybe we can get some more feedback in the chat. There's people out there that might have more information or some really great ideas on what's going on there. Because at this point, all we can do is try to keep up with law enforcement. They're obviously, they got something working. And if they're missing a small piece of information, who knows? Maybe one of these crazy YouTube videos just kind of sparks a memory like, oh, okay, yeah, let's grab that. Ties in with something else. Boom. They have some kind of foothold. Who knows? Those are the kind of fantasies that I have doing this. Can it help in the smallest possible way? Is that possible? Well, probably not. But we can hope. Is Kegan a smart person? The pages of the transcript that I want to go over, 158 through 164, I mean, he says some pretty interesting things, and he seems to be working the investigators pretty well at this stage, and shortly after is when the interview ends, actually. So we'll look at 158 through 164. Not only does he mention going to Vegas, what he was doing in Vegas. Through these pages, he also mentions Country Club Road, things like that. So they all tie in here. And then I wanted to get your opinion on what happened between February 14th and February 20th, that changed everything. If they're responsible for this, Kegan and people that he may know, you would think they'd be out of there on the 14th. You know what I mean? but they weren't out of there until the 21st is when they went to Vegas. So there's a lot of things we're going to talk about. While they were in Vegas, they reset some phones. Was that at somebody's advice? Did they seek advice in Vegas? They were meeting people there for quote unquote drugs and prostitution. That was between the 23rd and 25th. So that would be after they reset the phone. And then they were back in Peru, Indiana on the 25th. So those are the things we're going to talk about. Get your opinion on what you think was going on in Vegas. Was it tied to the Delphi case? Some of the details that we'll read about in the affidavit and in the transcript definitely do not make Kegan look like he's an innocent person, whether before or after the fact. So before we jump into the first couple pages of the affidavit, just want to say hi to everybody that showed up. I appreciate you coming and hanging out. I wish I had more bells and whistles. I have no experience with this. I'm just somebody who's extremely interested and really thrown off by this case. It's kind of like an all hands on deck situation. It really relates to everybody in some kind of way. You know, we have the modern technology aspect now that's a bigger part of this than anything really now. So that awareness is key. I'm proud to be part of that. We talk about that constantly. We try to stay updated on this channel on what's going on with this case specifically. I know people ask me to cover other cases. I don't know anything about any other cases. You know, I'm not here to it's true crime because of what I do and the stuff that I look into and what we cover here. But I mean, it's technically not a true crime channel. It really is just a Delphi channel right now. What it evolves into, you know, that's, you know, only time will tell. But this is what I had planned for today. I like to go back and look at old information with new information, and just kind of try to tie it all in together. And then it's great having you guys here because there's a lot of people who are, if not even more obsessed than me on this case. You know, they're just good with information. Their perspective is a little different. So the input from the chat is very valuable. You know, the information you guys can provide is very helpful. So I'll do my best to kind of pay attention to the chat. But really, I'm going to be doing a lot of reading. It's going to get long-winded. Yeah, we got a full house. So, I mean, it's not like I can go and say hello to everybody. But I do have some members in here. Dee, Willow Rain, Mary Ellen, Frank Meister, Curly, Bee's Knees, Tattoo, Cindy, Kathy, Marv. What's up? Silent, Mandy Ray. Showing the love. All right, guys. Let me pull this information up first. This is going to be page 1 of the affidavit that they released to us. So, of course, a lot of the information is redacted. Like we now know the majority of these blacked out names are Tony Klein. And we don't know if that guy's guilty or innocent. You know, we know what he is guilty of. We know what the facts are. But I mean, we don't know what's going on with his tie to this double homicide. But he's definitely involved. And let's take a look. Okay. So this is the probable cause affidavit. So when they decided they are going to arrest Kegan Kline. Or they're going to serve a search warrant, sorry. Okay, the undersigned says on February 25th, 2017, the Indiana State Police and the Federal Bureau of Investigation executed a search warrant, and we know Canal Street, we know his address now. While working ISP case, we have that information as well. FBI sent information to the ISP Cybercrimes Unit that an adult male was soliciting female juveniles utilizing a social media platforms, Snapchat and Instagram. The adult male was using the username Anthony Shots. Subpoenas were sent to Instagram and Snapchat for the Anthony Shots account information. The Instagram and Snapchat returns provided Comcast IP addresses. A subpoena was sent to Comcast for the IP addresses associated with the Anthony Shots account. And the Anthony Shots account was registered on 7/20/2016, and the Snapchat return advised account was registered on 7/14/2016. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So some of the devices are back where he was child solicitation, and all the CSAM stuff started in 2015, 2016. And a lot of those were pinging in Royal Center, Indiana. Do you guys know anything about Royal Center? So I was wondering if there might be maybe some other cases that we haven't seen or been able to locate in that area. Royal Center, Indiana, between 2015 and 2016 that may be connected to Kegan Kline or the Anthony Shots profile. So that'll be probably something I do tomorrow morning. Okay, so on February 25th, 2017, at approximately 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the search warrant was executed on the residence by ISP and FBI and the Peru Police Department. Um, Tony Kline and his son Kegan Anthony Kline were located in the residence. Approximately 12:35 p.m., Tony was interviewed by ISP Sergeant Kunstek and FBI Special Agent Willman. Tony was read his rights and agreed to speak with investigators. Tony confirmed they had Comcast and their internet provider, and it was secured network. Tony told investigators that Kegan did use Instagram and Snapchat. At approximately 1:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Kegan Kline was interviewed by ISP Sergeant Kunstek and FBI Special Agent Willman. Kegan was read his rights and agreed to speak with investigators. During Kegan's interview, he initially denied the fake social media accounts and talking to underage girls. Later on in the interview, he admitted to creating the Anthony Shots profile. So that's what I wanted to talk with you guys about. Why would he admit to the Anthony Shots stuff, knowing that eventually it's going to lead to them asking him about the Delphi double homicide? Is it that they almost broke him? Did they almost get him to admit to the crime during that initial interview? Or is he smart enough to know that that's what they have? Like, I might as well admit to it because I know they already have it. What is the reasoning? Because we know he was a brick wall in the latest transcript. Like, he didn't even almost snitch on anybody. Royal Center, Indiana. Apparently, the devices he was using in 2015 and 2016 were pinging in Royal Center, Indiana. Okay, so let's pull up page number 2 of the affidavit. Good point. Joanne Jones, great point. I was going to bring that up, but I didn't want to get people sidetracked. But yes, he says, and we're actually going to take a look. When we pull up the transcript, he mentions in his first interview during basically the same time the search warrant was served after this affidavit here, he says that they were yelling at him, playing good cop, bad cop, getting in his face. So he does mention that in the transcript, and we'll take a look at that. Good point. Okay, so continuing on, finds girls on Instagram and then tells them to talk to him on Snapchat. Kegan admitted to speaking to approximately 15 girls that were underage and advised he probably received pictures from every one of them. He advised he saved their pictures to his gallery. During his interview, Kegan stated he was fucked and he should have left. Kegan advised he packed another bag and took it to Vegas. And Kegan returned from Las Vegas on February 25th, 2017. He stated he was going to leave when his dad was asleep. Kegan told investigators the main phone he uses is the white iPhone 5C. So I'm wondering at this point, he's assuming, okay, they got my DNA. They know I had something to do with this. I'm screwed. I should have never came back. But I think he spends the rest of the interview understanding that they really don't have that much. And maybe the DNA they have really isn't that good. Let's continue. After Kegan's interview, he was polygraphed at the Peru State Police post by Sergeant Matthew Collins. Kegan and Sergeant Collins spoke about the incident and case. It's redacted. We have that information. Kegan again admitted to creating the fake Anthony Shots profile and speaking to underage girls. Kegan told Sergeant Collins the girls ranged from 15 to 17 years old, and he knew their ages because they told him how old they were. Kegan stated he received approximately 100 sexual pictures from underage girls. Kegan described explicit. He kind of goes through the details of what the images look like. Multiple electronic devices. On February 27th, Kegan contacted ISP Cybercrimes Unit and told them he located his Apple iPhone 5C that wasn't taken during the warrant. On March 2nd, 2017, the unit obtained the iPhone. Look at that gap, March 2nd. So they went and gathered most of the electronic devices on the 25th. On the 27th, Kegan decides he's going to call, and they don't even get out there until the 2nd to obtain that. Okay, and this is something I found interesting. So on Thursday, June 18th, 2020, multiple law enforcement officials met with the Miami County prosecutor to discuss this investigation. So I wonder what could have been taking place in that meeting. I wonder if they said, hey, do we have enough to bust this guy here for the double homicide in Delphi? I think this is the reason they didn't arrest him. Whatever happened in this meeting determined, the next few events. Yeah, good point. Is it Sha? This is always hard for me. Shasha. I kind of have a lisp. A lisp. He had to already know that they had a profile info simply because they took his devices. Also, before he was arrested, his dad surely coached him on how to handle cops in an interview. Man, these are good points. Because this is going to segue into why he went to Vegas. You remember his dad had a cop friend up there, and I was talking with Fig, and he brought it to my attention that he most likely was going down there kind of to seek counsel. I was talking with CD and Fig, and then we were all in a consensus that that's probably what was taking place. So think about it. A ski mask incident happens on the 20th. They leave for Vegas on the 21st. The phone doesn't isn't factory reset until the 23rd. And then after that, they're looking for quote unquote somebody for drugs for his drug dealer friend, and also prostitution. Um, Information is found from the 23rd to the 25th, and then they're back in Peru on the 25th. So what if whoever they met, ski mask incident, boom, closing up loose ends, they failed. Then they bail, you know, we got to get out of here. Vegas on 21st, they meet with the cop friend. He says, "Don't worry, dude. They don't have. If they had you, you would know. This is what you need to do: reset all your devices. Get your story straight." He's kind of like, "Don't worry. I don't think they have anything." They reset the devices. They start having a little bit of a vacation, hence the prostitution. They're feeling maybe more confident that they got away with it, and then they're like, "Okay, let's go back to Peru." They come back to Peru. They get raided. Instantly, Kegan says, "I knew I'm fucked." Okay? He said, "I knew it. I should have never came back." Okay, and this is some information on the other device at the bottom of that page. The iPhone 4. This iPhone was named Kegan iPhone. Kegan's iPhone. It was last utilized at approximately November 11th, 2016. Kegan would have been 22 years old at this time. Access to this phone was protected with a PIN. There were numerous usernames and email addresses located on the phone, including, and this is all redacted information, talks about CSAM on the Kick Messenger, Snapchat, a lot of weird, a lot of strange information there. But I want you to focus on this iPhone 4 here. Access to this phone was protected with a PIN. Okay, because not all of them were protected with a PIN. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Involve user of the iPhone, another party sharing Dropbox public links containing CSAM on the Apple iPhone 4. So that one was password protected. The device was secured with a PIN, the Apple iPhone 3G back in 2015. Now take a look at this one here. Okay, now this is the phone that was reset in Vegas. Okay. Samsung Galaxy S5. Factory reset approximately February 23rd on 2017. But notice, this device was not secured with the password. There were numerous usernames and email addresses located on the phone, including redacted. There were some chat messages recovered from this device from MeetMe, Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, conversations that took place between February 23rd and February 25th, meeting people in Las Vegas, and prostitution. Okay, so the phone that was reset just after they got to Vegas never had a password on it. Anybody could have been using that one. I found that strange. Yeah, exactly. I'm assuming the phone that didn't have a password or a PIN was the one that was most likely being shared, amongst people. Or maybe it's just a burner phone. Okay, so we're going to transition into the video interview, his videotaped interview, the transcripts to that. Yeah, he claimed to have found it. But why wasn't there a password set on it? And why did he have to factory reset it? Yeah, I need to see if that's the same phone. Yeah, we're going to have to figure that one out because that's an interesting one. Yeah, that's true. Could be seeking information, Lil Pookie. Talk to me and I'll help you out. Yeah, I don't think he would be trying to scare her, but if she's a potential witness, that could be the one piece of information to put them behind bars. The, whoever this Anthony Shots person was could have been there to kill that person. Not intimidate, but actually silence. And that could have been what was going on with Libby the day of the bridge. You know, maybe Libby wasn't planning to meet anybody there. Maybe somebody was just cyber stalking her, waiting for her to slip up because of what she knew. You know, we just don't know. There's a lot that we don't know. Okay. So then he's talking about when he's in Vegas. The investigator says, "Hey, when you're on your vacation, you're searching nonstop about the Delphi investigation. When you're supposed to be on vacation, when you're still actually sending Snapchats to Liberty, when you know that she's dead. I don't ever remember doing that." Well, I'm telling you, you did. That's a fact. Like that could be me sending that message to a ton of people, like on Snapchat. I would do that all the time. I would send to like 40 or 50 people. Okay, at once. But again, that one in there, well, I know what you mean. I had nothing to do with that. So, I mean, I know, I get that she's dead and I get you guys want to find somebody, but I literally have no clue. When you walked in here, you said, I'm not a car guy. I'm not. I know what a Lamborghini is. What do you mean? Well, of course, everyone does, but Lamborghini 458 Italian, that's what that car is. And I'm not a car guy. I don't even have a license. No, I'm a broke guy. I don't. I'm not. I have. Okay, so that's page 158. He said something very interesting. Okay, right here. He says, like, that could be me sending that message to a ton of people, like on Snapchat. I would do that all the time. Send 40, 50 people. Yeah, but why would you be doing that in Vegas? You know what I mean? I understand if you're doing it at home so you can potentially meet these people, but why would you be using those techniques while you're on vacation? Yeah, that didn't make sense to me. That's a good question, Curly. Curly said, I just don't understand why the ski mask thing is coming out now. Wouldn't police think that that would be an important key after two young girls in that area just got killed? Well, you have to remember the ski mask thing happened with the person who introduced Libby to Anthony Shots. Okay, so we're talking about a potential witness Um, Not only that, the males within that family were friends with Kegan Klein. So there's a lot of touchy things there, you know. You never know. So they're protecting a witness and also trying not to give out too much information to potential somebody who could be involved, in my opinion. The ski mask thing is not a lie because in the affidavit, this is how they found Anthony Shots was with the ski mask incident. What happened was the ski mask incident was reported. They interviewed the witness, and the witness said, well, I was messaging Anthony Shots, gave my address, and then by the time I got home, I saw somebody looking in the window. But another odd thing is the Anthony Shots person was also communicating with Libby just before she passed away. So that's where this, and they even mention it in the transcript. That's where it all started. They say it. It's not me saying this. This information I'm relaying to you now is coming directly from the transcript. So that's what broke this investigation wide open. That incident. So if they would have been successful in silencing that witness, that would have been it. We would probably have never caught Kegan, and he would still be free. So let's continue on here. So that was page 158. We'll jump right to page 159 here. So they ask him, let me ask you, after you failed the polygraph about knowing about the Delphi investigation, you come home, you delete your Snapchat and your Instagram, which you used to communicate with Libby, and then you searched, how long does DNA last? Why would you do that? Kegan says, I have no clue. I don't know. Probably because the they DNA tested me, right? So they obviously have DNA on the body, because why else would they DNA test me? Okay. Now, what I did here was I wanted to remind myself of certain things that I read through where Kegan is actually really smart. Okay. So this is how we know he's not as dumb as he tries to act. It's when he gets annoyed and he gets uh I don't want to say hostile, but when he gets aggressive or he feels like he's in some kind of control. So he says, so they obviously have DNA on that body, because why else would they DNA test me? All right. And they say, so why would you worry about the DNA being on on that body? He says, I wouldn't. Then why'd you search? Common question. That's just a common thing to freak out about. Like, why? You know what I mean? No, I don't. You giving DNA? Right. You obviously know I didn't do it. Right. He says, right, right. Yeah, right. But then you're starting to think, not see, like, then why would you search? So he kind of controlled that whole conversation there. He says, you have my DNA, right? And if there's DNA on the body, you know it's not me. So at this point, Keegan's interviewing them. He's trying to figure out more about the DNA. What do you have on the DNA? All right, let's go to 160. Why would you care how long DNA lasts? What if it lasts 100 years? What would it matter to you if it was on the body? Then it would matter, right? But you knew 110% your DNA wouldn't be there, right? Right. So why does it matter how long it lasts? Because I wondered if the person had DNA on their body, if they actually knew who the person was. That doesn't make sense. How doesn't it? Because it doesn't. It just doesn't. Because in my mind, I'm thinking these people think I killed somebody. So if they actually have DNA on the body, they're going to know that I didn't do it. But if there's no DNA on the body, then it's obvious that, like, okay, well, that's weird. Okay, so that's another one where he's proven that he's smart. He's hinting to the investigators that I'm not telling you anything. If anything, I'm taking information from you. He said, because in my mind, I'm thinking these people think I killed somebody. So if they actually have DNA on the body, they're going to know that I didn't do it. But if there's no DNA on the body, then it's obvious that, like, okay, well, that's weird. So he wants them to confirm that. But they're not going to give him that information. But again, and then Kegan says failed polygraph. That just adds to it. Everything he just said, it's stacking. This whole thing, it's not though. Kegan says it's not though. If you get what I'm saying, I mean, it's really not. I literally have no clue how that girl died. I don't know anything to do with it. Yeah, that is weird ass coincidence that it happened to talk to her like that. I get that. And they ask, and then we go again. Something else that stacks on top of this is when you talk. When you talk to investigators, I mean, this is fresh in your mind. You just got back from Vegas. You've been nonstop searching this stuff. You have been talking about it with other girls that knew Lee. You have been searching it before you went to Vegas. And then you tell investigators, I was with my dad all day. We went to grandma and grandpa's at noon. No, I told them I didn't know what. I mean, I don't ever leave. So, like, yeah, I'm probably out at his house, really. But I mean, I'm telling you again, I don't remember everything I did. Well, I'm refreshing your memory. Like I told them that I would go and see my grandma and grandpa like a lot. No, for a fact, audio, video recorded on your interview. You told them a few days after this happened, you know you were with your dad all day. And you know you went to your grandparents. Well, every did really. From on your interview said you either said 12 or 2 or 12 to 3 and then you came back home. That's what you said. Right. That's not a I don't remember. That's what I said, right? No, cuz he was like you really need to think about this. Right. And you really need to think about and that's what you said. So I was like, well, I mean, well, your phone does not line up with that. And again, that's another fact. You don't have to remember it. Okay, where was my phone at? Please tell me. So it was at your residence, 67 Nice Canal? Because I don't ever leave there until when? You went to somewhere near your grandparents' house, but you did not go to your grandparents' house. He says, what, friend one? They say, where? He said, friend one's house. They say, okay. And that's the only other place I go. He sold me weed. That's literally the only other place I go. So why lie? Several times. I didn't think I ever lied, but I'm saying if I left my house on that day, he's trying to say, it'd only be at his grandparents or friend one. If I ever left, I was at my grandparents or to friend one's house. You said in an interview, audio recorded to 2 law enforcement officers, including an FBI agent. Right. You said I was here at home from this time to this time. Then I went to my grandparents, and then we went right back home, and I was with my dad the entire time. Done. I know. Okay. That for a fact, because you said it, that's what you said. Okay. But now you're telling me you Where were you last Monday at 7:45 p.m.? That's what Kegan asked the investigator, flat out. Where were you last Monday at 7:45 p.m.? Investigator says probably at home, but again, okay, I was probably at home. But what I'm telling you, I mean, do you get what I'm saying though? Like, I mean, you don't, okay? Okay, then he says it again. Okay, where were you Monday at 7:45? And then this is when the investigator starts to stumble. Kegan, this isn't about, basically, this isn't about me. So for him to shout that out shows you how intelligent Kegan really is. He is now the one asking the questions at this point. Where were you last Monday? Like, can you remember? Let's see how good your memory is. And the investigator even answers this question, probably at home. And then Kegan, this is where he eats him up, man. He says, okay, well, I was probably at home. See, he's smarter than we think, in my opinion. And then he says, why don't you know where you were on Monday? You see what I'm saying, though? No. Like, people don't remember little things about life. They do when it involves them, when I had nothing to do with it. So why would I even, but you remember what I was doing? One of the last people to, this is why. Okay, this is. But such a big deal. Don't you think I would know exactly where I was at? Yes, and that's what you told people. Exactly, but it was a lie. Okay, so where was my phone at? Do you notice what he says there? I don't know if anybody else caught that. The investigators never said anything about where his phone was at. They were asking where he was at. Right here. Don't think I would know exactly where I was at? Yes, and that's what you told people. But it was a lie. And then look what he says here. Freudian slip. Okay, so where was my phone at? What do you mean your phone? Don't you mean where were you at? I told you it was at your house. Exactly. And then it went to where? It wasn't grandma and grandpa's. Where was it? I'll tell you that much. Where was it? Was it in Peru? Yep. Exactly. Country Club Road. Whose house is that? Country Club Road, I have no clue. That's where my grandma lives. I mean, my grandma lives on out by Papa. Yeah, Papa Pike. Yeah, right. It wasn't there. Country Club Road and Papa Pike meet. I understand that. But you connected to a Wi Fi source that was in that house. No, I did not. No, I'm telling you 1000%. I don't go anywhere besides friend one and my grandma's house. So why did you tell investigators that you went there when you didn't? Because, well, he was like, well, where do you ever go? That's the only places I go. Okay. So we'll end the transcript pages there. And we will start the discussion. What do you guys think about all that? Anne Lisette says, I think it's kind of normal. If pushed about where you were on a certain dates and times to turn the question back on an interrogator, many of us don't know where we were on dates and times. Yeah, I agree with it. It's just funny how he was able to turn it on the investigators like that. That was real close to the end too, where they just kind of get up and walk out on him. Um, but then he was searching about the murders hole in Vegas, so KK probably did know. Yeah, it just looks suspicious. But at the same time, if law enforcement knew that he did this, he'd be charged with it. But then again, they found the whole pedo ring. And then again, maybe Kegan didn't do it, but knows who did do it. Maybe he acted alone. But if he acted alone, why wouldn't his DNA be on the body? Then again, is the DNA even good? So I'm saying, like, it's really paper thin. It kind of brings us back to the whole meeting with the prosecutor. Is this the kind of stuff they were talking about to the prosecutor? Like, is this enough? And they're like, no, this is not enough. If we prosecute him with this information and we are unsuccessful, we will need new evidence moving forward. Hey, we got a newcomer. What's up, Yvonne? Darwin? Welcome. It's always a pleasure. Corgi Mommy says he may not be as dumb as he looks, but I don't think he's too smart. He seems unintimidated. I guarantee he's smarter than what we think. I mean, this guy could have done this alone, for all we know. He could have been catfishing, got pissed off, the girls blocked him, threatened him, and then he cyber stalked them. And he knew he would be out there. And as soon as they showed those Snapchat images at 2:07 on the bridge, he simply walked out there in a rage, killed the girls, and then just walked back. Nothing complex, nothing simple. It's just dumb luck. I'm just saying that's a possibility. That's not what I think happened. But yeah, I think he, just by those examples I showed you, he's definitely smart. Like, he's able to put two and two together. He's able to use it to bolster his position. He even postured on him a few times, you know. Well, what's up? I don't know if he thinks he's smart. He might just be smart. And the reason why he's not talking is because he's the guy. You know, regardless of what we see in that image, we know that the images just aren't very helpful. It's like something that morphs every frame. So we really don't know what we're looking at on that bridge. We have no clue what that is. So to say absolutely that that's not Kegan Kline, I mean, you just, it wouldn't be coming from a place, an educated place, I guess. Yeah. What's up, Grizz? Yeah, he was tapped into some sick pedo matrix. You know what I mean? The best time of his life sounded like when he was working on that pig farm. Yeah, the only way, Lemon, that one person can do this, let's say he's just enraged, right? Pulls up to the CPS building, sits there. Snapchat photos pop up. Boom, he starts walking. He's like, there they are. I'm going to go teach them a lesson. He's high on something and he's walking fast, you know. He's more limber than we think. You know, 6-foot dude, you know, he could make it out there if he's got a nice stride pretty quickly. You know what I mean? So he's to the bridge, right then and there, maybe 5-10 minutes from that video, and on that bridge and walking towards the girls. And maybe they weren't there to meet anybody. Maybe they were just going to the bridge. And this guy was just stalking him now. It's payback time. Committed the crime. Happened that nobody heard any screams at the time or were there to witness anything, as far as a detailed description. He walked right out of there. Or he got lost. Let's say he couldn't hike out of there up those hills. So he got lost and went around. And maybe that's when he was spotted. I'm just saying it's possible, If this isn't a well thought out crime, to me, that's, I think, what would have happened. Yes, bee's knees. And that's what kind of helps with that theory. Because he actually showed up to this park, right? Well, it's convincing. She says that she never actually met him. And then Murder Sheets asks, was that the first time you met him? And they say yes. So they didn't really clear that up. So I don't know if he actually went out there, if he found out that she brought a friend. Did he witness personally that there was a second person with her? I don't know. They didn't clear up that information too good. And that's how my mind thinks, like critical. I need a specific answer. Did you see Kegan with your own eyes that day when you went out there to meet somebody? Did you witness him there? No, they didn't ask her that. But she did say that he was really pissed off that she brought somebody with her, another friend, and something about he should have cut her throat and that he knows where she lives and stuff like that. So if this is the Kegan that we don't know, like the real Kegan, this brutal monster who becomes enraged, I mean, maybe he acted alone. You just don't know. Yeah. That's why I'm wondering if there's more of a drug, some type of drug influencing his behavior. If he's high on something, gives him that boost of energy. He's all pissed off about something. He reminds me of there was a case of this incel, and he went out and he killed as many women as he could find. He said, the first woman I seen, I tried to kill her. So I'm wondering if he's, that type of mentality. He's got that hermit lifestyle, sits in that room all day. The only way he gets attention is by catfishing and lying. On the affidavit, it stated that he, what was it? Oh, I can't remember what he stated. Oh. Yeah, I lost. I'll have to pull that back up. I had a message come through. I got a little distracted there. Greatest of all time says he's not smart at all. He's got some sort of personality disorder. He's a pathological liar, and he's so smart. How come he's facing over 80 plus years just for CSAM that they got him on? Yeah, but we know that the only reason they caught him was from the ski mask incident. If that wouldn't have happened, he would still be doing it right now. And if he's not doing this alone, I have a feeling whoever's in that ski mask is the killer, not Kegan. So it would have been the killer who got him caught. It may have even been trying to set him up, Like they know Kegan's, a pedo. Just try to stay with me here on this theory. Okay, so you got Kegan, and then you got his father who lives with him, and then you got random people that are coming and going doing drugs. Okay. Keegan's always bragging about these girls, oh, they send me this, they send me that, I talk to So what they do is they pick one of the girls, and that's who they choose to attack, and they know they can pin it on him. Well, after the murders, nobody's catching on. They're like, hey, how come they're not on to Kegan? We sent all those messages, we even messaged Libby's sister. Like, why aren't they catching on to this? Well, maybe we need to do something, you know. So they use some random burner phone, message the girl that introduced Libby to Anthony Shots, show up in a ski mask, after using the Anthony Shot stuff that will then, they know for a fact, be reported to police. So they use that incident to finally set up Kegan Kline. They know after that, boom, the girl will say, hey, well, I talked to Anthony Shots. Also, Anthony Shots is the person that talked to Liberty. It's not going to take much for them to figure out that Anthony Shots was created by Kegan Kline. So that would be an easy way to set up Kegan Kline if somebody wanted to. And it would also explain the ski mask incident and why it was so strange and random. Sandy Major says if he can't drive, somebody had to take him to the trails and wait. Well, that's assuming that you believe that he can't drive. I don't believe that for a second. Yep, one of the killers. And now they say that they're absolutely certain that the young sketch was involved. They say it's an absolute fact that that sketch is of the killer. Yeah, Keegan's voice does sound like Bridge Guy's voice, like a lot. I won't deny that. Yep, very similar. That's hard to deny. Closer than most. Just something about it, yeah. Yeah, he's young. Like we don't know for a fact, He's painting a picture. He's emanating an aura right now of like a pathetic, don't give me the death penalty vibe. Because if he is somebody that did this alone and he's smarter than we think, he will fry for it. Well, I guess people don't fry anymore. What are they? Lethal injection? I'm not convinced Libby and Abby plan to meet him, but what if the ski mask girl planned to go to the Monon Bridge and that brought him there, then noticed Abby and Libby? That's possible. Something happened when Anthony Shots first met Libby. Something happened there. We know that she then began fighting with her friend over a boy. That same friend is the one involved with the ski mask later on. There's more information there, and I hope that that's, the important information that law enforcement's holding on to. And these transcripts, I mean, they could be leaked just to kind of let people know that Kegan's not snitching on anybody. It's business as usual. Go back online and do your CSAM because we're obviously monitoring you now. Put you at ease. It's business as usual. Continue on with your bad behavior. Yeah, Joe Morgan says perfect storm here. Motive and opportunity. Motive is the one thing I cannot grasp. I mean, is it silence? Is it? Well, he says, kind of when they mention this is about power to you. Maybe it's just an older person, and then the young girls. This is about power to you. You know that you're abusing young children. I wonder if that's what they ultimately meant by that comment or that statement. Um, the whole Garrett Kurtz, he already killed. Yeah, he. I'm telling you, there are coincidences. It's very possible. That's why they need more information in the court of law. You want that piece of doubt. But a lot of his phones were pinging near Royal Center, Indiana, between 2015 and 2016. So I'm going to set my sights on that area and those between those dates and see if we can find any more crazy events or something that may have taken place around that time that we could link potentially to the Anthony shots or that same behavior. Whatever drove him to create the profile drove him to be on that bridge the day and all the lying. Yep. It's just an escalation. Yep. I don't believe it for a second either. He may not have had a license. Lethal injection. Yeah, that's all the motivation he needs. Keep his mouth shut. Greatest of all time says he's not smart at all. That he tried to go back and tried to edit his and his dad's Facebook to give himself an alibi is something a child would do. Yeah, I do remember that happening. But I mean, once again, it seemed to have worked for a while. You know, I remember people when that first happened, they're like, "This isn't the guy. He was in Vegas on the 12th." So I mean, yeah, but if he was smart, he would, yeah, yeah, that's not very smart. It's like trying to set up an alibi after the fact. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. What's up, Captain? How you doing, sir? Yep. Goldie says these pedo rings have Fight Club rules. Yeah, I think they have codes too. Like, I noticed Emily Ann and a lot of the other profile names they're dealing with have, like a weird middle name like Emily and then Ann, something like that. So I think they use code words, something to help identify other pedos. Or maybe even when they're communicating, maybe they just use certain words, and certain words in that order lets everybody know, like, hey, we're all decoys here. I think they were just taking their time, taking photos, you know, walking across the bridge very slow. Really, you could rush across that thing between 4 to 6 minutes. Really, depending on if you're taking a beeline, straight across, probably do it in 4 to 5 minutes. If you're just walking normal speed across, probably take a little over six, like anywhere between 6 to 6.5. Yeah, he was definitely catfishing. Seems to be something they do. Um, and there seems to be some kind of homosexual undertones. So I'm not sure if maybe Kurt's maybe he was closet, maybe even with the Kleins. There might be some closeted tendencies there. Maybe that added to the frustration. What's up, Glenn? I see what you're saying, Corgi Mama. But I know people who have seizures and they drive and they live normal lives. Yeah, Joanne, she did say something along those lines, but she also said she didn't know anything about Kegan. She went from I don't know anything about him to I know all this information about him. So it's hard to know what to believe. But I think somebody actually sent me some information about proof that Kegan drives, all the time. Maybe he can't get a driver's license, so it's easy for him to say that. But I just don't believe it, you know. Yeah, and then again, she could have been set up, and there could have been a plan orchestrated. Maybe something to damage any DNA, like bleach or something. So maybe there was some DNA, but it's just not enough. Yeah, there's a lot we still don't know. All right, guys, we are at the hour mark, a little over, so I'll probably hang out here for a minute or two. Yeah, I keep hearing that. I wonder if he's even willing to testify. That'd be insane. Chad Wells testifying against Kegan Kline. Definitely be cuckoo land at that point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. There's all this information we throw around without considering the source. We're all guilty of it. But you have to consider any information come from Kegan. I mean, is it even factual? Let alone likely. Hey, Colette. Yeah, I've heard that said before. Like the type of DNA they have can include or exclude some people. Stick on mustache, some type of describe. disguise? That's very possible. Well, that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. Why would Kegan be on Country Club Road, logged into a Wi-Fi that was not his grandparents, while a double homicide was taking place that he's connected to? He communicated with one of the girls that morning. Then was also involved in an incident, a week after the murders. What was he doing in Vegas? Who was he meeting? Was he there to meet up with a cop friend, somebody who knows about law enforcement? How much trouble are we in? Can you help get us out? Type of thing. And then was Kegan smart? So we don't know. That's still up for debate. We know he's not dumb. I think we can go as far as saying he's not a complete moron. The way he communicated in the transcript, is enough evidence to say that he is not dumb. But is he smart? We don't know. We'll still keep looking. We'll try to make it on again a little bit later for my late night crew, and maybe we'll just follow up from this point, and we'll go a little bit further into the transcript, and or we'll just have some call-ins and finish the conversation. Didn't really get to spend too much time with the chat, so I apologize. Maybe that's what we'll do later on, is we'll just pop up on the screen in a live and just all discussion. So if I can find time for that, I can't wait. And I'll see you guys then. Take care.
Sleuth.